Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am waiting on Lord Lancelot. He did message me. I don't know if he has some things going on. He said he's here, but he's not. He's not here at the moment. So hopefully, he'll be joining us very soon. What I'm going to do is play a short video on law and domicile until he comes in and gets into the bill. So you guys aren't just waiting, so on and so forth. All right, let's go. And speak as much, but only very important things to note. All right, let's go.
It is the purpose of the following treatise to present to the profession a general discussion of the subject of domicile in its several phases: national, (T(A)Z) national, and municipal. With the exception of a little book by Round, only two general treatises upon the subject have appeared in the English language, namely, those of Philemery and Dicey, both works of great excellence, but not meeting the requirements of the American lawyer of the present day, the former having appeared 40 years ago, and the latter being written exclusively from the standpoint of the English law, and citing very few of the multitude of American cases. Too much praise cannot be given to the chapter on national domicile contained in Story's Conflict of Laws. It has had great influence in molding the jurisprudence of this country on this subject, and in its successive editions has gone far towards keeping the profession informed. With regard to the current of judicial decision, Dr. Warden's chapter on domicile.
For anyone coming in, greetings, greetings, greetings. I am waiting on Lord Lancelot. I believe he's just running a little bit late. We'll give him a little time. So I am playing this video on law and domicile. It is under my members only, but you guys will be able to listen to a bit of this before he joins us. Thanks so much for coming in, and we'll be getting started very shortly. Great day, great day. Peace, peace. Grand risings, grand risings. Grand risings to you guys. It's been a minute. Yeah, so we'll be getting right to it, okay? Hopefully he'll be joining us very soon. He messaged me about 10 minutes ago, and so on and so forth. Oh, there he is. Okay. Greetings, greetings, brother. How are you?
Greetings. I just had problems with this connection. Just on my phone right now.
No problem, no problem. Let me go ahead and disconnect this. I was actually just going to show a video on law and domicile until you came in, just so everyone wasn't waiting. I told them you'd be available shortly. Thank you so much for joining us again for part 2. And yes, go ahead and get yourself together if you need a few minutes.
Your mic is off. Your mic.
My mic is off?
Your mic.
You can hear me? Okay, let me see. 1 second.
Hope everyone can hear me.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? You can't hear.
The sound. I'm not too.
Can hear? Let me see if the chat can hear me or not. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's his mic. You hear both of us fine. Okay, he'll come back in. All right, Lord Lancelot, can you hear me? They hear you fine. He said they said they hear both of us very fine. Are you okay?
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay.
Very well.
Great, brother. How are you? Hope you're having a great day. I know you're having a bit of a problem getting in, but I know it's a bit late for you. So we're going to go right ahead and get started, brother. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. You have done that before in the previous video, but for anyone that's coming in, and let them know what's going on, and we can get right into the bill, sir.
That's right. I'm Lord Lancelot, the Royal King of England, through my ancestral house of Wessex and Mercia. And, we have right to the throne over King Charles, which is a foreign administrator, out of Sussex and Gotha, which is a foreign house. And due to the fact that this is our land, there are things that you have to do, families that you have to get together, and awareness that you have to spread, because that system of stealing has been operating for a good 400 years. So things are never gonna happen straight away, because a lot of us are sleeping. Our soul has been stolen, so we ain't really fully awoken to ourselves yet. So while I'm here, I'm just again moving as diligently. My soul is just guiding me throughout all of the process. It's just that I just be the one as a family member, imperial one, to be awoken first. As in when you put a bread in the oven, not all of them get baked all at once. So it's just sometimes, again, nature just selects someone to to turn the alarm, or just to spread the consciousness. So right now, I have within my congregation, or my house, royal house, the we have House of Lancelot.org, which is the royal and imperial house for families across the world to come into. That is the org. You could, again, sign up. You could sign up as a royal member, part of the Constitution. Also, learn about your genealogy, because, again, important. The genealogy is a thing that cannot be removed. It's just that you have to have something. You have to pay attention. We are distracted every day, and that's a great reason to take things from people when they're not able to see. And so we have to have the reason of remembering. So genealogy is where no one cannot escape from, and that is what we provide over air, because this is the biggest archive in the United Kingdom. So to connect all of those in the Americas about your kingdom, the kingdom is very big, and just give your history where it wasn't their narrative of slave ship, but you being kings and queens already and traveling from one part of the kingdom to the next, which is the Americas. You can find that similar as in previous, before any naming of that. It was Mercia, which is from the kingdom of Mercia, and that was the biggest empire, in the world, which spread from the Americas to Europe, to the Africas. So these things are part of your genealogy. Also, yes, so there's the health board. That's an international health board organization, just like WHO, where you have the International Health Organization. We're the same, but we are independent, where we inspect everything that is going on in the government, in the local. And 2026 is, again, the time. Everyone has been keeping up with my vlog, or my post. You know, went back into the parliament, and just more diplomatic, where it was just that time. Already done without my who I am, and made history, because, again, that has never been done before. So a definite shift has been really confirmed. So it's just now for us to build on that by knowing who we are. So that's what's going on. That's the whole. If I could conclude everything together, and we will talk further on. I was that, sister. So
Yes, that's great. So I wanted to I'm sorry, brother. I stepped away for a second. My grandbaby.
okay.
I had wanted you to elaborate more on Mercia. I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, because a lot of people are very, very unfamiliar with that name, and what that details of that would be. Is there any way you can elaborate a little bit more on that? Because obviously, the American Indians don't really have an understanding of some of the things that we'll be talking about. And you were kind of grilled a bit before, so I just wanted you to kind of clarify a little bit of that with them. And anytime you're ready to share or anything, you can also just let me know.
Yeah, it's again, it's just I'm on my phone. I didn't I- my usual presentation would be on my
Okay.
laptop, my computer. So if we if we do want to again see the presentation, might have to switch over, but I don't know
We could
how
do that a
that's
bit later. If you could just
yes.
be very good with elaborating. So if you could just go ahead and maybe explain it a bit and just let them have an understanding of how the connection would apply to them. Because a lot of people obviously will come in and say, hey, well, he's saying England, that's not us. And, what does that have to do with us? Or so on and so forth. So from your aspect, maybe giving a bit of clarity as to how that would affect us or how you would be able to assist with them finding names to rural kingdoms that were before called America, so on and so forth.
Okay, and that's excellent. Okay, so we know about prior Christopher Columbus, there were um empires, just like the Inca Empire, just like the Aztecs. These are the Americas, right?
Yes, yes.
And it's not just it was all Americans. You could say the words that we know, dark American, melanated ones, original. That's the original. It's just and the culture was the culture is directly the sun. The sun in every Mayan, in every America, they know the culture is coming from the sun. That is the central intelligence, and so that was the crown, as in in because the word just to make the word Americas was added to as in within the 16. Prior before that, it's if you take off the A, it's Mercia. You could find that because Mercia is going back prior, like from AD, from like the third AD. So these are names that if you're ruling an empire, meaning empire is imperial, so it covers not just one landmass, it covers multiple landmass. So as some people heard of the Roman Empire, it covers a lot of landmass going, right? So Mercia, it covered that empire, it covered a lot of landmass. The Americas, north, south, all the Atlantic, right? That's why a majority of those that are in Indians, where they will say like Turtle Island because the whole empire was covered the whole islands, right? So
Mhm.
and this is a it's it's a cultural based from the sun, like it's as in we navigate the whole landmass. It wasn't one area where we were able to move prior before anything. So Mercia, you could look up. It's the term before anyone gave it the name America. So
Mm.
it just take off the A. So A would either mean ancient Mercia because it they still keep it there because that's the same denunciation when it comes to the crown. And I mean again, because the crown is the land mass, so that's why, and it represents the sun itself. So does not to not say it's an individual crown, but it's representing the whole culture of who we are, right? And again, remember, you're so those that try to change the history, they try to minimize it as much as possible, and that's why again, those that are even Moorish, they know about the empires that cross from sea to sea, so that is this is where you have the chiefs. The chiefs are usually, you know, from the Indian culture, you have chiefs, and these chiefs are usually represented as prince or king. If you look up the name, they mean first, the heads, and that's why you could find like Septimius Severus. He was an emperor, meaning a chief, a high chief, meaning a god, and he ruled like the whole of this from to the Americas going across. So the important thing is I'm trying to put forward is that Mercia predates the name America, right? It predates it. The way how the information might be put out is that they always try to minimize who we are, our culture, but it's the purpose of the crown that the sun, that the intelligence that covers the land and those that are from that intelligence. That's why that culture of chief and chiefdom is very important. But that's if you type in Mercia and you ask meaning, and it will give you again. And Mercia is literally what it will say. Say Mercia, America used especially to emphasize quality regarding a stereotypical American, right? Mercia. So you could find it also on a normal when you do the meaning. And remember, the language, the documented, they will use again the standards of what has been documented. You could find it in the Oxford Dictionary and those things that you could be able to find a reference from when we were the scribes, right? So when it comes to Mercia, it's not as what they it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's very large. The biggest empire that there were prior to the Inca dynasty and things and so forth. So
Let me ask you this, Lord Lancelot. Now, recently we've been hearing a lot about Tartarian, right? So, a lot of times when I think about when you're talking about or have talked about the Mercia, I'm thinking, is that empire they're talking about the Tartarian Empire per se? Because doesn't that go into, because you also mentioned the sun, right? And the energy, so on and so forth. And in Tartaria, that was a lot of going on with like the free energy, so on and so forth. So, does that tie into that in any sort of way because of it being more of the aether versus ether? Going back to like the original ones, can you get into that if you understand what I'm asking you? I hope I'm asking clearly. Clearly.
yeah, I do understand. Just because I don't really I know about the Tartarian. I don't really subscribe to it.
Okay.
I know that again it's it spreads from that Russia. That's where the Tartarian were morely discovered, and again it seems like it's now used as an expansion of the time because again
Mm,
Russia was a servant of of that kingdom. That's why again they would reveal certain truth that other servants won't, or other serving members of that empire. So
mhm,
so I understand that due to the fact that it's if you look into it where there are a lot of evidence, it's just like a lot how a lot of things is just like word of mouth, like it's not well documented, as in if you look into the actual archives, it will give you a specific place. All right, so because in those times, like to find how vast things are, you look at the kings or the emperors that ruled, and from there it shows you all of their genealogy, all of their relatives, right? That is you look at who ruled in that time, and it will show you more than just like a minor, but it shows you the major part of the connection of things. So sometimes when just like on the screen we see Mercer and they made it that little, it it's not it's not what is the true depiction. It's bigger than that because of
mhm.
yeah, because of those that rule in that time, knowing that they have, just like for instance, if someone would know about Mansa Musa, that he traveled to the Americas. So that if he was able to do that, that means again there was a form of relatives that he's able to go to. So that kingdom must have been bigger. But if you ask what in what dynasty or in what era that was, or what empire that was, a lot of people would have a hard time to find out. So and that was in the Mercia time, where it's again the fact that all the relatives was able to travel from one area to the next without no issues. You have to look into that, the family dynamic of that, instead of the terms that they have borderline, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I hope that for everyone, but it's questions. I love it. Just because it's more better in the beginning. It was just more getting to the work, but now it's just, again, I realize a lot of people is just um not really that enlightened, or the sun is not really projecting too much on them because of all of
Mhm.
the interference they have within them. But it's now I could just keep reflecting that sunlight, so everyone could be more illuminated. Because as we see in it, there hasn't been no dispute, because this cannot be disputed by foreigners. Like, about my claim, nothing. There ain't. It's impossible. So it's just that me, for myself, realizing that the reality is just that we are not really knowing our family dynamic is what really making everything longer than what it is. Like, we don't really know the value that we have fully yet, until we get more information on these topics.
So it's very important. Well, in our community, we also talk about that, obviously, how important it is to do your genealogy, tracing your roots back, so
Yeah.
on and so forth. I know with your campaign, you actually do that. Can you get into that a bit, as far as like if anyone's looking for researching into their family or so on and so forth, or did you want to wait and maybe come back in on the computer so you could share? Either way, we'll be fine if
Yes.
you can do that. Just let me know. You
Mhm.
want to do that?
One moment. Yeah, this is you're right. Just give us a second. Just
Sure.
because I have a free computers in front of me. Like, I don't know why this is just either this my picture won't you won't be able to see me, but I can still operate. But I think it's just good to give everyone clarity.
Now, if you're the link that you had to join, if you can send it to yourself, uh, I'm not
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're able to open StreamYard on your computer, but if you send it like to your email, you'll be able to open it, and then you'll be able to share, from your screen.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
One moment. I did. It's 1 second. Oh, there we go. I did. Um, that's how I was able to get onto the phone, because
Okay.
usually I send it to my computer and realize, okay, I can't really accept it through there, so I just did it from my phone. But yeah, it's like 2026. It's so on the levels has changed. It's just, oh, what's this? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the level has, because it's another, we have moved forward.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people might not is not able to reach forward yet. So that's why now I'm really being present again on the media, but now where I left off with the soul. The reason being, because that's my journey. That is my journey, like my self journey, for even getting to this part of my life, and to be able to express to everyone online is that was the main purpose of getting the point to get to, because when you get to that point, it gives you reason to be it. Like the reason to be a king is like it has to come from, like I say, your soul, which it is written about. These are something that is written about. This is Magna Carta 1297. It talks about, imagine again, these are the greatest because it's a Magna Carta, meaning the great charter. So again, a charter that is great. It governs the forest. So if you understand about governing a forest, that means not meaning every forest. So it's a great charter and the land itself. And these are kings that came together in that time, because this 1200s, this is before, long before any interference with our history. So they're talking about souls. So it was so important about to talk about the souls that they documented within the law of that charter, meaning it's great. So something is so significant as that they already had all the technology to put us in the reality that we, like a matrix, they had the technology in that time to put us to sleep. Like how you watch the Matrix and you see waking up with they had the technology. It may not in that necessary um fiction where we're coming to see that that even that fiction is appearing where you do have the AI. So
Mm-hmm.
but the human one where based on disconnecting or removing you to certain areas, it cuts you off from the solar connection. Because again, without the sun, there's no life. We should know this is a central intelligence. Without it, and so once they remove that culture, because that culture was the earth itself, that was the main intelligence that we go off. Solar intelligence. We're in a solar system, and a solar system cannot no one cannot escape that, and there is no greater thought than a solar system. If you try to go beyond that, that means again you're you have an interference. You're going through an interference, because that is just a wonder. The solar system locks us in to who we are, and that's how prior before any lunar calendar or lunar ideas. Again, the solar system rule. That's why we rule, but that's why this there is a the time has now come back in where the solar cycle has come in and we're charging up again. That's why we're getting so illuminated, that the word would be. Um, one moment. Just now, I'm just trying to get on to my link. Okay, where would I put? Trying to get onto my WhatsApp link. All right, let me see. Yeah, you were right. Let me send it there. Okay, it's uploading. Yeah, so my people, it's incredible. Yeah, everything is just up to the time when, like, it's not really, our human might see themselves. It's not really a human time, but it's a soul time, and you just
Mm-hmm.
have to keep preparing until the clarity, your soul gives you clarity. Right, that is the main thing. Just have to keep learning about yourself, because knowledge of self is number one. And the more you learn about yourself, the more the clarity of your reason comes. Because again, your soul is the reason for you to have being. It's very very important, because again, without the sun, there is no life. And
I speak to my audience a lot about that, when it comes to things being taken outside of us and put into this world per se.
Yep.
like you're saying, us in our soul, like the Christ, or Jesus Christ, and people understanding that the Christ is the Christos, which is that light. It is the
Yes.
information. I
Yes.
say I've been telling them this for years. Literally, the light
Exactly.
is the information, where it says, "I am the Word, the truth, and the light."
The
The light
light.
actually
Yes. Yep. Yep.
rises
Yep.
up,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Right. Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. That's
So what you're saying definitely is resonating with me when it comes to that, because we definitely are the pure light, and that light that comes from the organic or orgon energy that the sun exuberates. And then we
yes.
receive it. We're receptive of it, because what we have, the neurological
Yep.
type of melanin that actually receives it, converts it, and it transforms it into energy, which is light, right?
That's right.
So
Yep.
it is definitely profound, as far as like the explanation and what you were saying, because we are literally children of the sun. That golden
That's right.
sunlight is the plasma in our blood. All of this is so prominent. You know, um,
Prominent.
so that's
And
very important to understand. Like you said, coming into the light. So the light
yes.
is actually in you. When we think of, hey, coming into the light is in us, right? And
That's
then the
right.
sun enhances it, and it helps to bring that light out. And we're not so, we're not caught up in what's outside of us, because we know that
Yes.
we are the true light. And there's this false light that's being emitted all around us to give us illusions and confusion.
Mm-hmm. That's why our culture, meaning something that is it was the sun. That's why the culture. Imagine, remember, central intelligence.
Mhm.
We're in a solar system.
Yes.
So, because remember, our body is made up of systems: digestive system, nervous system. Remember, a nervous system, it comes out. That's why we have, and the antennas, receptors, self receptors. So the self receptors.
Mhm.
That's why again we breathe in oxygen, we give off carbon dioxide. For fire to light, it needs oxygen and it gives off carbon dioxide. So the sun
Mhm.
is 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 giving us the reason to be in. That is our soul as a collective in the solar system.
Yes.
It's remember that for us to see each other closely, as if you look up in the sky, you see the stars, right?
Mhm.
There's space in between them because they don't have a body. Their body, they haven't put this body on. That's why it's it. The reason why we put this body on is to see ourselves up close, as in we could kiss. Because we put the body on.
It's
As
the armor.
surely that you go to sleep, you take it off. And
Mhm.
surely as you wake up, you put it back on. So for us to see each other at a different angle, we need a body that's like a interference, right? Like the
Yes.
the the the, the quantum experiment where you
Yes.
put something and then it creates a ripple. So the body creates a ripple, just like again, the sun, each stars that you see, in, they're looking at their itself at a different angle. That's why you see so much different stars. That's why if you have so much mirrors in your room, if you shine a light at one of the mirrors that is accurately positioned to the next mirror, it will create a geometry effect where you will see the light creating a geometry effect, like a motion, like a
Mm.
movement. So these are solar intelligence. My people, one second, I'm just about to click this screen.
Yeah, take your time, brother.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just we're in a solar we're in that time frame. We're in a solar time. We're in that solar season, and that solar season, it based on our perception, so based on our control,
Mhm.
how much we know about ourselves connecting to the sun. Our perception could change the environment, just like the sun changes the environment daily. But
Yes.
we also have, again, our own regulation system that is connected to the sun. That's why there's that 1% in every individual that makes them significant, priceless, right? Is that once you're in a solar system, again, the soul is not separate. It's all one. That's why you talk about the oneness. The soul is in all things. That's why even when it speaks in the beginning, God said, "And let there be." That's the soul speaking, not necessarily the character that they put on. Just like a body, the soul is in everything. You, that's like a character they put on the soul, because again, to this day that you see, you only see the sun. Like that is a living God
Yeah.
that no human cannot compare themselves to, right? Not this body, right? And as much as you call on any God that you can't see, this one does the job perfectly and has never faltered yet, right? And you could see it. And the fact that this is the reality, everything else is the figment to your imagination as a story. No one needs to tell you tell you the story of life, because you could experience it for yourself. And again, no one has not come here yet and say that they haven't seen the sun. Um, obviously, if they're blind, but they must feel it. Some for some sense of observation, either as feeling or the other. Some some thought of watching. You're watching it by reason. Connect. What's this? Just connecting 1 second. Yeah. So that sun, their sun is so important. Just taking this time. Yeah. So it's so important the time that we're in. And yeah, that connection that we're supposed to have. Which again, that generates us, make our perception more stronger to change our reality. That's
Yeah.
why, yep, that's why again the sun is ultimate, because it changes our reality. Even if you don't want it to or not. The season do come where the summertime comes, when it shows you that yes, there are something um greatly advanced in us, making us feel good. Even if you don't want it to, you're feeling it. Even in the night, that heat still, that Holy Ghost, where you want to call it, that heat of the sun, the flame,
Yeah. That warmth.
does find you. Yeah,
Yes. When
yes.
they say
All
that
right,
fire, what they'll say in church, fire shut up in your bones. Literally, the fire, the flaming energy.
that's right. So clear. So exactly right. And it's it's the stories that has been used to govern this reality. Just the stories. They sometimes they could take. I'm just logging in. I realize, because for me to go on the StreamYard, I need to log in, and I haven't used computer for a while. Um, let
No
me
problem.
yeah, let me all right. Let me see if something is connected. Yeah, so it's the intelligence right now. We have all the tools to definitely awake. And definitely burn, to definitely feel the fire. We have everything. And it's is it's just the illumination. The spreading of information is
That's right.
not not really. If you want to spread information quickly, it's through the sight. When people see a lot of people together, that is a stain. That stains your brain. That takes over your consciousness. That's why if you go outside and there's 1,000 people outside, that energy takes you. It's like you fight or flight mode. It actually brings you to that level. So it changes your physiology quick. Then when you say something, it the visuals, you have to then create the visualization of how important the words are.
Correct. And like you said, with that, it's all entertainment per se, right? All part of the ENT. And when it comes to that, the ear, nose, and throat, you hear that from the doctors, right? And that's the sensory system that we have. You were talking about the system. So when it
Yes.
comes to that, there's our senses, and all of our senses partake in creating.
You're saying so well. Don't you haven't froze, have you?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Exactly. Go ahead. Just
Yes. So the senses basically, our senses is.
You're cutting out.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I think I hit the mute button. Sorry about that. I was saying that our senses, they actually partake in giving us the reality, because what happens is when we pull in the information, whether we see something, touch something, feel something, smell something, taste something, all these things create the reality in our mind, because now the mind will take that information in and it starts to break those things down because it only deciphers a certain amount. So it may pull in a million bits of information, but we're only going to use like 0.1% of that information. And now we get the visuality, and then we project the truth or the reality, which is the manifestation of what is going on. So when you talk about that light and everything that's within, that's what that is. So now we're opening up those portals per se that are within our cells, bringing in information or downloading, let's say it like that, the information from our ancestors, because it's a part of us. And then now that light has opened up that binary frequency to allow us to be tapped into that particular information.
That's right. That's right. That we again, just to expound on what you're saying. So true. We have our body are made up of cells, right? Cells, right? Very important cells, and the cells are cellular, like cellular. Cellular is solar. So all of these cells are the solar system, the solar information. This is the receptors. So this is the self receptors, our cells. Because again, if you could take a cell out of you and create another one of you. So because the cell it's environmental also, right? It's environmental also. That's why we have genealogy. To get to that point, we're getting up. We're definitely getting up there. I'm almost open up. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Okay. So just putting in my name. Like again.
Greetings,
So
Dig 184 pieces, and everyone else that has come in. We are just getting started.
oh, 1 second. No, let me. Sorry.
Okay, it'll echo until you remove the. I see your other screen, but go ahead and take your cell phone, brother, and then apply this one.
Okay, let me get. Yes. Okay. Good.
All right, there we go.
Yes. All right. Yes. I haven't used this one in a long time, so bear with me. Just got the screen on.
Yes, no problem. Take your time.
Here. Yeah. So. Yeah. Wow. This is a. Greeting everyone that is tuning in. Time has just been flying. The preparation. There's so much exciting stuff. My soul sending me reasons. Levels on my people. Okay. How we do this now? Just to make sure everything is open up and renewed. Okay. Okay. 1 moment. Continue. Just logging in on the site. Okay. Clear this off the screen.
All right, guys, he got disconnected, but he should be joining us back in a moment. Give us a minute. He said that was a computer that he was not using very often still. We'll give them a minute to get right back in, okay? Thank you guys for your patience, and I appreciate it. Just one moment. And as he was saying, we were talking about the cellular structure. That's something that is phenomenal too, because when you think about a cell phone, right, and how it's connected, you know how you can be browsing through your cell phone, right, doing something on the computer, and then all of a sudden, something that you talked about a couple of days ago, even hours ago, a minute ago, something you thought about that's even in your mind, it will pop up on your phone. It'll be an advertisement, some type of or some sort of commercial, something of the sort, right? It'll pop right up in your algorithm. You're like, wow, I was just thinking about this because you actually projected that information. You're the one that is projecting to this cell phone. This cell phone is connected to you because why? It's a part of us. They have created this and modeled it off of our cellular structure. Any and everything that has true energy, generally that is being used, there's some way that it has been transmitted so that it is activated with our system. We actually produce and are the ones that actually are helping the system to run, obviously, with any and everything. So the cell structure is actually connected to these phones, whether you understand or understand that or not. It's been going on from way back in the days when they used to have the screen cut off at night, and then there would be anyone that's older will probably remember that there was that black and white little screen, right? At that time, there was a remote viewing going on. They were actually monitoring people at that time. All
Yeah,
right,
trying to edit my name, but on the I don't know why it cut out. Sorry. So now let me just share the screen,
sure.
Sister Soul. Let me just, how do I share the screen now again? Okay, screen. That's it. Website. Okay. Everyone can see the screen, right?
Okay, yes, I see it. I was actually adding your name real quick. Give me just 1 second. You had Lord Lancelot Webb, correct?
Yes, the king. Yeah, that's it.
All right, perfect. I got you. 1 second. Okay. All right, now let me go ahead and add the screen.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay, that's great. Perfect. All right. Yes. So everyone that don't know about the website, again, this is for all of the family across the whole entire region. Again, just our reminder, our inheritance is definitely has been studied in the United Kingdom, which is again Mercia. And so the House of Lancelot, again, is the Constitution and the local Board of Health. Again, the Constitution is an imperial one, royal one, where this reminds us who we are and everything that we're supposed to do when it comes to our indigenous rights. These things are the establishment of that because other than saying Indian, American Indian, you could American Royal because the word Indian is the same as the same privileges and rights and as Indian is imperial, same because again the culture is as family. So the health board is what I'm mentioning where is the force how to order the force better, meaning the family better in terms of what we're supposed to do in terms of health. And again, it's connecting families back to their roots. Families, all right? Not necessarily empire, but family first. We have to do the the grassroots so that the empire don't get crumbled because the value is in the individual. All right. That's why as a soul, every individual is significant. No money is above no individual when it comes to a soul. But again, we have we have been degraded so much that we will sell our soul for paper. All right, so
Absolutely.
this is again on the website you'll be able to see. I got The Crown is a Birthright Volume 2 coming up. This is purely for psychology to make sure that you're up to date as soon as possible. It has light codes because it's a genealogy, a timeline, a frame. I don't know if everyone has seen, but again, this is me when in September time in Parliament, and I'm doing my declaration. If anyone wants, I haven't seen it, you can see it now.
So tell me today, what are you here today in Parliament?
Well, I'm here today in Parliament to represent the Windrush generation,
Yeah.
and also to proclaim and declare that I, Lancelot, is the real King of England by bloodline, by genealogy, by law and constitution, because we're from the ancestral house of Wessex and Mercia, and we have right to the throne over King Charles, which is a foreign administrator, and he's from Sox, Coburg, and Gotha, which is a foreign house. It's not native to England, and a lot of people don't know. So we're under foreign government, and that's why it's affecting all of those that are from the Windrush generation. A lot of uneducated people that are representing us that are not doing the justice, and that's why when you see the footage, that was an excellent one because someone needs to change the dynamic of what's going
Where
on.
can they find you?
Houseoflancelot.org, and you find the whole history, find the teachings. We're dealing with so much because, again, there's so much pretenders, so much foreign invaders that's going on right now. Even in this is again based on my bloodline, Westminster Parliament, Westminster Abbey. This is based on King Edward I, again from the House of Wessex, and as we know, we have a lot of whitewashing, things being changed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more in right of the King of England than Charles itself because it's in my blood. You could find it in Westminster Abbey. I am trying to tell the King that, and I've made sure I'm trying to tell the King that. No, this is the time. This is the time. There's no other time. I hear me now. There's no other
time like the
time.
present.
No, this where people are dying, and you're saying this ain't the time. When's gonna be the time? Till everyone dies.
I've heard you make that point a number of times. Here's what I suggest. Here's what I'm suggesting.
You let them come. That's the whole point. Because again, this has to be examined. This is for real. Again, us as children, it should be the only one that should be in Parliament because this is written in the House of Lords Presidency Act 1539 that we, the children, are the only one that's supposed to be sitting in Parliament. And yet there's foreign MPs, again, foreign government and foreign everything. Unfair because all of the other people, they're incompetent. They ain't able to know nothing. They ain't speaking nothing right.
What last need to do is book a meeting.
Book a meeting. Yeah, so yeah, my people. So that because after searching for your soul, you find out, and like I say, your soul gives you the reason of being. That's
right.
why the sun beams. It gives you the reason of life, right? And when you're integrated with your soul, which is your soul, which is the sun as presence, which is the sun present, right? It makes you do it. It gives you certainty, confidence to just be, right? Yeah. So there is, like I said, the laws are all there when it pertaining to everyone that is a part in different part of the empire, wherever they're born. For like in Americas, there is laws. Like there's a statue. You could find it. Just it's clear. It's like these are real things that's been established. Cannot be removed, repealed, nothing in that way. All right. As a whole. So this is an actual, a statue for those who are born in parts beyond sea. So wherever you're born, if you're born, because the empire, as in when it comes to the solar intelligence, as chiefs, as owners of the land, meaning the first custodian, children of the sun, we document these. We have still our stewardship is so high. We make sure that all of, again, that solar memory is documented, right? And again, it, when you is the libraries, when you say our libraries, we our libraries not on different islands. That's why you might find more more documentations, more intelligence, more evidence in our libraries. Other places are different stations or different what you call it, environments that you develop on. It's not necessarily, like if you have a school, sometimes you have the playground, sometimes you have the libraries. So for instance, the America is more like where things are physical, because if from the Americas go down into the Caribbean, you could see that the culture is it's more ritualistic. So it's more something that you do. It's like it's a natural habitat, instead of like coming over to it's more like a library, like something that has really been carved out. Where over on, again, in the America side, it's more natural, as you can see, naturally preserved, because it's for natural thinking, for natural process, for natural development, for it to really, that's why the energy is so high over on this side, over on the America side, from going all the way down, because it's a natural thing. It's a natural. It's not
organic.
Organic, yes.
Yeah, organic.
Organic. It's not built up as in, like a library is the store. That is just for just the storing. If we forget the organic way of being, we go back to the library, go into it, check it. Okay, confirm. This is what I was doing. It's correct. You understand? So this is just showing you the world in itself as a house, as a kingdom, right? So, like I say, as within the library, in the Isles of Mercia, you would find, again, telling you about, look, showing you. Remember, this is a statue for those who are born in Paris beyond sea. King Edward the First, because King Edward, because he was taught by the mother, which is the matriarchal, which has the longest DNA, the longest preserving of history or bloodline or connection.
That's right.
Right. His intelligence was like, as a Solomon, where he made sure when he's doing anything in the kingdom, he's considering those that are beyond sea, because of how he was taught. So he considered everyone. That's why this is so important, and this is authority. And this is the statue. This is the first, and it's talking about the king's children, right?
Yes.
Meaning us as the children, because again, in this time, there were god kings. So when it mentioned king, it's meaning the god king. I could show it's wow. I could show you on another slide, but it's saying the king's children declared inheritable in England, wheresoever born. So it doesn't matter if you're born that's why you're inheritable, because of the library. It's your library. You're inherited all of your documentations, all of your studies. That's why you're inherited, right? Inheritable in England, wheresoever born. And look, it's the law. So we're not talking about men law. We're talking about the law of the crown, meaning the law of the sun, because the sun is the highest crown. You can't go on. That's why every crown is created in a way where it's a corona. It's
Oh
if
my
you
God.
look at it, it has the significant value of the sun. If it's gold, silver, platinum, diamond, is showing you that it's representing the terrestrial and the celestial plane, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's why it's talking about the law of the crown, right? And instead of England is and always have been such
Oh,
children of the
Lord
king.
Lancelot. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I have to ask you something because something just popped in my head. So now when you say that, right, it made me think about you said all everything. I don't remember how you just said it, but you just said something about everything that is beyond sea or all the lands beyond sea or something. What did you would you repeat that, please?
Yes. I thought I was sharing this. Can you see this? You must be able to see it now.
It just
What?
you just removed it. Something was it was sharing,
Yeah.
but you just took it down. Just reshare it.
No worry, because I was reading. I was reading from the law. Okay. Okay, you can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have
Pull it
popped
back
up.
up. All right, there it is.
So this is what I was reading from. I thought was everyone was seeing it. Okay, when I switched over, one moment. So going back again, right? Look, you can see it right there, right? Clear.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. So, right, this is a statue for those who are born in parts beyond sea. So parts beyond sea. So anywhere beyond the seas of the library, right? Just use the library so everyone could be more understandable.
Hmm.
Library, right? So within that, this is the library of King Edward, where he all the documentation of the family could be kept or remembered when there are troubled times. So going into what was mentioned when because in these times they had God Kings still available. They're gonna bring it up
Okay,
again.
I'm sorry, Lord Lancelot. I don't want to. I hate to cut you off, but I want you. I wanted to ask you this before you start getting into that real quick.
Of
Just beyond, just from that title that said
course,
"Parts Beyond Sea," right?
yeah,
Now, the government with what they do, obviously with the commerce and everything, they're using the law of admiralty, and so
mhm,
they only have really, I guess, some type of control or legal authority over the sea because it's the water and it's not the land. How does that pertain to that? And can you elaborate on that if you understand what I'm asking? Because I don't know. It seems like that has something to do with that. If it does or not, you can elaborate on that as well.
yeah. Okay, good. So due to the fact that when it comes to servitude, like service, right?
Yes.
Um, the the Admiralty law is the oldest because again it's talking about service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why they're using Admiralty because that's the only way they could service. The service
Mm-hmm.
may not be good, as we know. We have not been in good. They have not been in good service for a good 400 years. So, but that's the law of service. That's the law of military, right? All of these things is it's the law of serving, right? That's why you know being able to be a part of a land that registration of ships, vessels has to be registered with the board and things, the land board, because again, for you to, because it's the service that for servicing. Again, we we are supposed to inspect because we serve. Our service is not to nothing else but the family. So uh, we as a king served his family like based on intelligence, based on order again. And so for instance, we have not been in service because again, our service is the land and sea, right? That's why again the genealogy provides the full understanding of that. And
Mm-hmm.
where for them to be a part of the genealogy, they have to serve the family. Like I say, it's not has been good service, but the fact that the laws of the land has to cannot be removed. So it's where that's the only way that they're able to do any have any power, you might say, because again they're serving, and if we don't realize that our ser- our service our service as to we have to then get into this our service, because again we know how to look after the land, the sea better than anything, because again we are directly souls, so that the souls have better reason overall. So again, the things that they for them to be able to be a part of things
Mm-hmm.
is that they require service, and everything requires service. But it's
Mm-hmm.
that is who is serve is if that's why sometimes when there's not good service, the actual regulators come in and regulate that company or that office that's not serving, doing good work, right? Good trading.
Yes.
So we are the regulators, but again, we have we have like left our post because um we don't realize that it goes it that that's like every sea goes into the land, or every river goes, it's a
Right,
so
right. If
it,
there's a flow, that flow of that water into the land.
yeah,
Yes.
so it all connects,
Mhm.
and like I said, we are the light posts, all the posts that for you to, because they're serving something again. If it's not, and as you can see, it is us, but they're not having good service, so we has to be the regulators. That's coming to the things that I'm 2020, and my whole agenda, and to inspect, and to have better service, because it's terrible what's going on. And
So
so
basically, just to clarify, Lord Lancelot, if there's that servitude, when you're saying that service, so people can really understand that service and them being the servants,
yeah,
and you're not performing in those duties, they're not fulfilling their roles, those servants being fiduciaries, trustees, so on and so forth, and taking responsibility over some of the things that are supposed to be done to make sure the people are appropriated, and
yes,
they're not. So now they've gone against that. So now it's the time to say, okay, enough's enough. It's time to
yes,
be removed. And like you said earlier, something about that the crowning and the corona of the sun. It's amazing how at that time they brought that and used that even against us, when that is something that is for us, and use
yes.
it against us to try to hold people or minimize them even more. But yes, go ahead, brother.
100%. That's, and again, because imagine, remember, so when it deals in with service, you have just like librarians, they're servicing things. So again, while we in our natural organic environment, we
Mhm.
might not see that things are getting changed in the literacy, or in, because again, the words governs the mind. So when we come back to reading something, that could take us away, take our natural organic behavior. Because remember, the words, what is documented is for memory.
Mhm. Yes.
So it's sometimes, the changes that took place, it altered the memory, so it just doesn't appear as exactly how your mind should see it, or you should be observing. So again, that's why the fact that when he talks about the law of the crown of England,
Mhm.
is that people are programmed to think of a crown as in they're not seeing the whole, they're not having the whole memory. They're only seeing a crown is not single, it's a whole thing, right? That's why it makes it round. It's not a it's the whole in the whole. It's not separate from the sun. It is just the symbolism of the intelligence of saying, okay, you have reached a degree that you have an understanding, so you have a crown to represent that you're a living soul, like you have
You are,
reached a
and
degree.
some would say enlightened, right?
Yes,
Because like you were saying about the words, when you said the words they're imprinting, these thoughts of conflicting truths on us, right? So that's what we always say is indoctrination, the doctrine that has been planted inside of you versus being the real or the true light of doctrine, which is the light of us, which is us being the soul, which is a part of everything.
Yes. 100%. All right. And that's why again, this is not, you see, and it's soul time, not my time. I'm just following because it gives me reason. So the time when the time comes, because again, there's a lot of us that are super bright, and it's just where we shine our beams, like where we directing the beam, the sunbeam. Because again, when someone put a microscope on your hand and the sun is shining, you don't realize it, and that you get that electric, you get that burn, you jump.
Burn, yeah.
It's like just shine beaming on people so they jump up, like you
it's
shake them
literally
out the stick.
I'm sorry, brother. It's literally an electric pulse because what some people don't understand is that when that sun actually hits our melanin in our skin, it heats it up to about 15 volts of energy. So you're right. It's like a burning sensation and electrified, like a shot to you or something,
Yes. And that's our soul, isn't it? So the law, and this is the law of the crown. So it's the law of the soul, meaning the sun as who you're supposed to be, and it's showing you of England. So you could use this word as the library, right? The law of the crown of the library is and always have been such that the children of the king. So as you can see in there, there's more than one king. It's not just one. It says king with an S of England, of the library, because there in your genealogy there are many fathers, right? So it can't be one. That's why everyone is significant as a soul, because again, all the kings that came through is in wheresoever parts they be born, in England or elsewhere, be able and ought to bear the inheritance after the death of their ancestors. And you see, it's an S, so it's not excluding no one, it's including everyone. And that's a solar consciousness. To include everyone is to have a solar consciousness, which law our Lord the King, the prelates, earl, barons, and other great men, and all the commons assembled in this parliament do approve and affirm forever. And you see, it's forever. So, but that's why it's a solar consciousness. It's a solar, this individual, this king as a soul. Just like the sun is forever, he's following that decree. He's not, you see, something that is decreed forever is a solar decree. It's not, man
it
decree.
can't be altered.
Yes. All right. So that's the importance of what I was showing. Let's get back to it was a great even dialogue. Because it's like now this is the first live I am on in 2026, and every time I just realize your name, right? Like I just realized that, like, I was like, Sister Soul. Oh, like, it's just weird. Everything just connects, that you are connecting more than others, right? And the name just it all makes sense. It does all make sense. So because your Sister Soul is
yes,
it does make sense, right? So again, and this is what we talk about when it comes to your surname. Still, because again, everything. This is what I found out, because again, my soul always gives me reason, because that's the reason why I'm being. So in this, in the system, the American system, every system, the Earth system itself, right? Unity wins. Say there's a game, right? Like a Nintendo system, and the first game that you put in that system, that's the first. It's running off of that. So exactly how the game is set up. So in the Earth system and the Earth game, unity wins. If from biochemistry, physics, genealogy, right? Just company, whatever you uh, want to spread out as a force, unity wins. Science, the more math you have, the more force you have. So the stronger you are. That's law. Company. Look, if you see the biggest organization usually have the biggest resource, right? The system, because unity has got is what they will say, they hijack unity and created it as a working system. So where you have police, right, or you have the largest force, the largest that, and again, it's they win because again, it would either the military, right,
Yeah.
or the police force, right, as a unit, they're the biggest, right?
Yes.
Because that's the game. Unity wins. That's the game. But they have hijacked it and turned it into a, like you would say, a military complex where it's a service, right?
Right.
And they took away the family service out from it and actually make it just a service.
Right, because the father or the brothers or so on and so forth, even the moms, would be the protectors, but now they have it where,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I understand.
Yes, and that's what I am illuminated for. So we do have again, just to show everyone, this is, if you want, you going on. All right, this is where the service for the genealogy go down. Again, depending on, in put in normal detail how much surnames you want to search, because again, genealogy do not exclude, it includes. Genealogy goes along with physics, chemistry, order, right, mathematics, right, and is the this is where there's no dispute, because if when it comes to order, we should know that the melanated woman is the first. There's no disputing in that. So if she's the first in creation, that's why you can look at it in the Bible. It says Eve is the mother of all living, and I imagine that there was more women before her. So if the mother of all living, the mother of all civilization, right? So if that if black woman is the first, melanated woman is the first, right? Then again, you could tell our offspring, and if it varies, just like our biology, and there are various genomes, you can see, because again, you will see if it's toned, if the tone goes from one end to the other end, you will see what relates more, So if it's dark, you would have dark, then light, then you get it till it goes, fades out, just like a ink in a printer, and the ink ran out till there's no ink on the page, right? So it's when it's genealogy, it's just the order of living, because it's who comes first, right? This is why everyone is who they everyone has claim, but is this is where the fact that it's inequality that makes it separate, makes inequality, like, when someone is disabled, not knowing who they are, it's not that you're supposed to not allow them to know. This is where the inequality comes in, because again, this is going against the law of nature, the genealogy, the law of the crown. That's again is going against it, and this is where again everything is eliminated. So to eliminate any issues, you could say okay, but the order is in genome that again we have essential intelligence, The environment created everything. And based on this environment, because we're in a solar system, based on the environment of the solar system, the souls come first. And it's just
That's simple.
it's simple,
Yeah.
right? And the order of the souls will then again gives you the the actual order of everything. And that's why again, let me show you. This is so important. Let me show you this, right? So yeah, that is the page on our website where you could get your genealogy done. Say the archive is over here. We have the best to be able to get you the full result. It goes back into when the dark ages, so there's no confusion, no confusion. Remember, we created all languages. If it's English, we all of it is. There's no everything is just newly interpreted. Like you could once you created life, you create everything. There's nothing new underneath the sun. Every language, like I said, people that English or someone else's, it wouldn't be possible if it wouldn't. It just if you stick to genealogy, mathematics, everything will make sense. You would not it would not be easily tricked. It's very much not tricked. So again, how to build a family tree and everything that you require. Again, our wonderful administrator, our excellency Awoken. Again, she's there. Yeah. So okay, let me just go back to the front page. Again, everything that we require. 2020. Again, so 2026. So these are the steps that to be a part, because I want the most competent family members first, right? So to make sure everything is regulated, where again, because right now we're going into the actual serious operation, so we need again all of those that again know the souls. So sign up to our royal constitution, because again, it's royalty is for all the family, and this is a public. So if they want to know your royal position, you could find it there. And again, the the constitution is connected to from the Americas. It gives the library. It makes sure that they know that you're actual royal. So again, your genealogy research, that is so one thing, as a international family member, as royal imperials, you'll be known from one end to the other, because they have somewhere to come and check the if the constitution has all the regulations or all the connection that there is. And like I say, if you read it, you will see that again it's super powerful. So then that is pertaining to everyone. So because some of us have individual mindset, so again the genealogy will then improve your individual mindset when it comes to royalty, just to get back to the family part of it. And then again, depending on the amount of people that serious and they request the learning, you could learn the royal laws, you know, so that you could, have more authority within yourself, and then join the local board. So this is what's happening now, where 2026 we have scrutinies, right? There's a lot of investigation going on. Um, the campaign, I was in Parliament on the 15th of January. Yeah, and January. Yes, January. So, and yeah, is this is more diplomatic move, where you could download the actual scrutiny report. You could see what the plan was going to, and so you could read and see how it is. Because again, powerful move. So this is again independent, separate, because this is what sovereignty is, to be able to be independent and change for better. Because if we're not independent, as in you have your own autonomy, your own sovereignty, then everything's gonna be the same, because this person gonna be working with the same person. It's gonna be not gonna be no proper changes. So the same, everything is being investigated down to your nationality, down to the health service, the police and justice, and the health, majority health and family. But this is some important, it's very, very important. Again, because 2025, the soul has it as its purpose of being. So for you to be a king, for you to be a enforcement, it, you have to have a structural mindset of, just like if you want to be a bodybuilder or a football, the structure of becoming that, it's a strict regime. Some things that you have to do. So, this is the state that we're at now, 2026, where scrutinies, plans are putting out, where it opens a lot of place. Like you work for, a royal wage, where, or inheritance, whatever it is. It's not, you're working for real. You're doing royal work and getting your royal grants, whatever it is. So this is powerful. And so that is the page, House of Lance, that you could go and visit. Just very, 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 very insightful website. And again, that is what I could present for now. So yes, sister, it's been a pleasure. If you have any question, you could go ahead.
Yes, let me go ahead and drop the link. If anyone would like to ask any questions, you guys can definitely come up or put it in the chat. Okay.
Well, I give thanks because again, 2026, you again is somehow, I didn't want to interview everyone, but I saw your name again. It just makes sense where your sister soul. And okay, let me just before I just wanted to highlight this. You see, so it's just based on memory, where for some reason, you see, that's why names and everything is significant, because the memory of just saying something, it just brings you back to what you wanted to put out. So again, we have Magna.
We will not look at this. I'm trying to put the link in the chat. Give me a minute, brother. My computer is putting up a help screen. I don't know why. Let me see what's going on with this. Okay, let me see. I'm not sure why it's doing it. That is absurd. One moment. Okay, let me see.
Okay, let's see if everyone can see this. I'm gonna transfer the screen.
All right, guys. If anyone would like to come up and ask any questions, please feel free to join now before he ends the interview, and he will be, able to answer any questions of anything that you would like any clarity on, or that's a little confusing, so on and so forth.
I got one more thing just to present for you. Just due to this is again regarding to our souls. If you could hear me, sister.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this is something that I wanted to, because it's very important.
Oh, he got kicked. He'll be back, guys. Give him a moment, and he shall return. Any questions before he exit? I know a lot of people, may not understand what he's talking about when it comes to him speaking on English, so on and so forth. Understanding that a lot of that was, a part of this America's, understandably. Some people may not know that And a lot of our bloodlines actually tie back to some of these places that are renamed, and the land has been transferred over to different things, so on and so forth. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we will go from there. He's going to go ahead and elaborate. All right, go ahead, brother. You're back.
Yes. Okay. So this is
Yes.
something significant I wanted to highlight, because again, this is really why I'm here, and I'm still going. Well, this is pertaining to our souls. Very important. Again, our
Magna
soul.
Carta. Yes.
Right. The Great Charter. Right. Look what it states. Again, this is Edward the First. Very important. So, like I say, Edwards, they carry the melanated bloodline, because just read what they're talking about. If like I say, if your solar system is fully functioning, you would be able to see. It says the Great Charter of the Liberties of England and the Liberties of the Forest. Remember, again, forest. So as we know, forest is around the world. The biggest Amazon rainforest, right?
That's right.
All right. America's, Caribbean, they all have forests, right? Africa, they all
Yes.
have forests, right? So again, because the forest is pertaining to the genealogy of the earth, and then it goes up to the sun, right? Because that's the order of the solar system, right?
Yes.
The sun, the earth, and the forest as the governance, because again, the forest governs the earth. All right. So, and this is confirmed by King Edward. Right. Look, it's so powerful. Look at this. This is where they call gospel at its finest, like magic at its peak. This is law, meaning something that the word, you have to know the word based, and the reason to know the word comes through the soul, and it's the reading, like you remember, we have a blueprint, and you have the DNA. This is DNA cells. The soul, your son, the sun codes your blueprint in the environment. Codes your blueprint in the environment, right? That's why, again, based on how you read, and say that your soul specifically records it exactly. So you have to know what you're reading exactly. And again, I found this out after again learning about the soul. So it shows you Edward, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord. Look, I'm gonna make sure I understand this. Lord of Ireland and Duke of Guyana, to all archbishops, bishops, etc. We have seen the great charter of the Lord Henry, sometime King of England, our father. See, so he's talking as family, right? Of the liberties of England in these words. But look again. I know it goes over everyone. Like I say, it's because how we have been programmed to read. This is law, not English, right? So different. Law is law. English is English. Two different things. So look, because it's according to what is being read. So it says, Edward, by the grace of, as you can see, there's no comma in this. So it's talking about God King. It says, what's one word? God King. Again, remember, if we're pertaining to the souls, when it comes to the archives of the gods, right? You could find it River Nile. You could find it in the Americas, the Aztec, the gods, the Mayans, the gods, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Remember, this word, use it as library, right? Just so this is the record of the gods, because we're talking about as how it is written, the souls, right? Souls are the gods became a living soul, right? So these are usually god kings, meaning pharaohs, right? You could type in there are pharaohs of the west. You could type in the pharaohs of the west, and you will see them. Because again, it's just meaning like great houses, like because of the mitochondrial DNA of the mother, they already govern the earth. That's why it's called Gaia. Mothers govern everywhere. You can't tell a mother where she haven't been. The earth is ours. So if you, it's the God Kings, right? It's denoting that again, the pharaohs of the West. These are those that are in the Isles, the Americas, the islands.
Yeah.
These are, so they're showing you that there were souls, and there are souls in the Isles, meaning us. As because look, it shows you what. Remember, if we say okay, this might be an error, right? But I show you that it's not error, because down the bottom again, this is present and this is prior. So this is the latter version, right? It shows you latter version, right? It says again, Henry. So this was Edward. Now we're saying Henry. Henry, by the grace of God King. As you can see, it says the same thing, because that's the father. So all God kings, they have the same title. It cannot change, right? And look, it gets better. It's all in this chapter of England, Lord of Ireland, Duke of Normandy and Guyenne, and Earl of Anjou, to all archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, earls, barons, sheriffs, reverts, officers, and all bailiffs, and other our faithful subjects. Remember, because they were all in servitude of the God. One serves God, right? And
just to clarify something real quick, no so-called king of today, which are the artificial, the inorganic, have that title of God King.
Exactly.
If they don't understand what you're saying, I want to make sure you got it clear. Go ahead.
But we know we won't. We don't find none of them. Again, the closest, the one that knew the title, is still a melanated man. This was King James. King James, again, because his mother is Mary. Mary, he taught them the act of supremacy, meaning because Mary is from Scots. The Scot law deals with the mitochondrial DNA. That's why Scotia is again a god queen, right? Scotia would be a god queen. So that bloodline, right, of the Owls, you would find the law of the family. It stains in Scotland, because that's why Scotia, even north of America, before it was North America, it was Nova Scotia, as in because of Scotia, because the bloodline of all of the females, they went over there, and because of it's their earth. They are governor, right? So because that is due to the bloodline, the mother, the genial, the mitochondrial, again, that was that last act that was put out to be used in the ancient, as you see on this screen, of God, but it didn't refer as God kings as clear as how we know pharaohs are God kings, in that, because remember, this is the library that we put the libraries, right? So that we the records. Remember, the Americas and all is the organic beings, where that's why you would find the more records in other places, because again, we organically, we that's the culture, the sun, we operate directly off of that. And so anytime we out of order, we go back to learn. All right. That's why all of the monuments in our places in Africa, you will find it's the libraries of things we kept. So again, so where we at now? So let me just where is okay. Trying to find the screen.
Okay, brother. I'm sorry. I had stepped away for a phone call. Were you asking me something? I apologize.
No, I'm trying to find the screen.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. So it shows you. Look, all right. Going down to the subjects because again, for the fact that these are all family members, and in the terms of again, because they're carrying some admiralty or some powers of the sea, is that they need that's the offices that is being used. So that is the subject is of the offices, not the actual family. But to know that anyone that takes offices in these names, they have to follow the laws again, and that's why again, the work or the service, when other people go in there because it's vacant, they could change and corrupt the names of things. All right, so it goes, which shall be seen this present charter. Look, hear this. Greetings. If you know again from Hebrew to the language and all of the ancient language, look, it says, know this, right? Yea, yea, that we. So, yea is usually, it could refer to shu, like the breath, like he's talking to the souls, but he's talking in a solar language. So it's like this, the old language, yea.
Yes.
So no, yea, that we. So these are indigenous tones that we use,
Mm-hmm.
right? Look, unto the honor of Almighty God, right? So he's referring to the Father as in the God King, right? Look, and like so because these are this is talking to, look, you're gonna see the souls. So and he goes, and for the salvation of the souls, you can see it in law, as you can see in law, souls are being mentioned. Remember, these are great kings. Their literature covers the language of the earth that we. So, like, you go, what does this may mean in Latin? What this may mean in Greek? What this may mean? There, in this time, they govern all the dictionaries.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about souls. Again, it's not hard to know what a soul is. Everyone is clear to everyone. So again, as remember, so this is a family affair because again, as you could see from the top, it mentioned our father, right? As in, he's given as God king, usually as a emperor. Then all of the children, if you're being the main son, all of the other stars, you would be classified as the father, just to show your your stature. Just like you say, chief. You is he is the father of all the Indians, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So because again, this doesn't change, but it's showing you this is a family affair. So going back to this now, again, it clearly says, and remember, it's talking about we now. It says, know ye that we unto the honor of Almighty God and for the salvation of the souls. Again, so it's talking about the souls, every soul. So now you have to know yourself because this is the significance of this document and knowing that your involvement in this by you having something that is significant, which is a soul of our is it progenitors, meaning the souls that came past and the souls that comes to be and successors, kings of England. So again, it's showing you all the kings of England, they're supposed to have a soul. So they're supposed to, or say levels, my people, right? At two and look, souls, right? Kings. So all of the kings, the progenitors, the ones that they're supposed to be like God kings, right? Like how you mentioned, if you don't have a soul, you cannot be a king. Where if you're not honoring, that order, that decree of the son or the soul, then you're an imposter. And this is again why it's clearly important of these documents, of these memories, these libraries. Look to the advancement of the Holy Church. Look now. So when they mention in church, they mention in the mother, because again, look, Holy Church, because it's powerful thing, right? And amending of our realm of our myrrh and free will. And you see, it's not myrrh and free will. Myrrh also meaning sea, right? You see, you would have the MOOR, but it's MEER, right? So, and C, right, goes have given and granted to. So the gods are granting, right? Because again, nothing is not owned by no one. Because again, it's been granted. So you see, it's not that I own this land. You can't own the land if it's owned by gods or the souls, because the son is the number one owner. You see, so it's through the grants. So we automatically have grant because it's in our blood. We are souls. Like if you're still having a hard time having a soul, that means again that your melanin has been interfered with, right, properly. And so again, to all Archbishop.
I'm sorry, brother. And this goes back to when we said when they say we are from the soil, because the sun enriches the soil.
Exactly.
Just to have so people can clarify what you're speaking on. It definitely goes into that. The sun, the solar, the soul, and the soul's air, all of the aether, not the ether, but the aether that actually transmits the organic energy of the sun, and it is also a part of us through that golden plasma. But go ahead, brother.
That's right. Hold on. So again, look. So remember, when we're talking about solar decree, know that a solar decree is forever. It's not one day, because the sun is forever. And look, so the grant, so those that owes the offices, or the service of the salvation of the souls, as in time of memory, that any time again we need again to understand who we are. It says it's granted to all archbishops, bishops, abbots, again, peers, earls, barons, and to all freemen of this our realm, and these liberties following to be kept in our kingdom of England forever. You see, the word forever comes in again. Like when you're saying forever again, this is a solar decree. It's not people that again do not understand the solar consequence. Look again. Look up. Look. So remember, God's talking to gods is a normal thing. You might think it's again based on the program that observers might be having, because they don't reach that solar intelligence. Look, confirming of the liberties first. We have granted to God. Remember, these are all gods talking to each other. God King, right? So even another God, he has the different titles as bishop, but these are all God Kings because they understand the solar decree, meaning something that's forever. So So again, so when you're reading it like this, if you don't have your solar intelligence or your antennas up, it's not
Mm.
gonna make sense to you, right?
Correct. Oh my gosh, brother, the indoctrination and not having the clarity. I want, whenever you have a chance to do a part 3, I would really like for you to break down more of the Magna Carta and expressing the thoughts of the light out of that information, because it's kind of hard to comprehend some of this stuff when a person is been clouded per se with false light, so
Yeah,
I definitely would like that, but go ahead.
of course. Definitely pleasure. So again, when it says we, it says we. So they're talking about. Remember the we in the beginning, what was mentioned. No, yea, that we. So he's talking about all the other god kings and to everyone that has been given a body. So the body is an arch. So these are, like I say, remember, for us to see each other face to face, we have to have this body. That's why we can't go directly up to the sun because we be burnt. That's why we put on our body every day, right? That's why if you treat yourself in the way of like as how you want to be, you would be like a cherub. Like you would be like that verse where the body of the beryl and jasper. Like your body will be able, your body could change based on how much you could program your perception. All right. So again, we have granted to God, and by this our present charter have confirmed for us and our heirs forever. Again, solar decree that the Church of England shall be free and shall have all her. Look, is it seeing her? Because again, all the gods come out of the Lord, meaning when they say church, it's meaning Kirk, meaning the Lord. But it's talking about the mother because it's her land. That's why when you use the word church, goes back to the Lord, and the first lords are the mother because of it's the land, the earth, from that because it's talking about again the actual liberty of the forest. Remember, it's that liberty, everything for everything to be manifested physically has to come through her, so very important. So that's why when it mentioned, you see the way it speaks, as in the language is speaking, it's referring to the Church of England as her. You can
So
see
it's
it.
speaking about the mother in the womb.
Yes, look, she's supposed to be free and
Mhm.
shall have all of her whole rights and liberties invaluable, so no one cannot disrupt it. That's why, man, attacking the mother was one of the most blasphemous thing, and this was done by Henry VIII. Like again, so I'm just highlighting these things to you so you know. He goes, "We have granted also and given to all the freemen of our realm for us and see, because you see for us because they know things will be corrupted, so." they they're just like a library when you put things in the archives again.
Mhm.
Sometimes again wrong people that, like I say, some people take up the post for just money so they could easily be corrupted, right? Some people, like I say, know it's a part of their work, like part of their purpose to look after things. Some
Mhm.
people don't, right? Because of how they're educated. And again, it's forever and our heirs forever. And these liberties underwritten to have and to hold to them and their heirs and us and our heirs forever. So as you say, to them, look, as you see, it's given like it's given someone else, and it's for because remember we're so intelligent, we know that we have to put people in place. It's
Mhm.
of when you it's like you have you could perceive, you perceive
Yes.
what can happen, so you do this just to again have a backup, you back up your RAM. Okay, you have an extra copy in case anyone mess up. So this
Right.
is this is important, right? Yeah, and it just shows you all the other backup that was given. So that's why it's so important. The ports again, the ports, because it's the gods rule the sea, and again and land, and it's very important. That was just one of the main things I wanted to put across. Remember, it shows you about. Again, let me break this down, this part down, just break this part down. Okay, look, all right. When it comes to in this time, 12. Remember, masons, because masons are builders, meaning God's sons, right? My sons, or same as again, God kings. Remember, they are built. We are builders. As building the architecture of the universe, we are part of the souls that build, right? So the existence of the mason in this time is referring to us, right? So that's why where you have the term, we have the term freeman, right? Is referring to literally a mason, because again it literally in that you're supposed to be free, like you have in terms of the Freemasons. So the men's are that are free are masons, because they're builders. They supposed to. That's what's given. Because if you're architect, if you have everything, just like the pharaohs, just like the souls, you're free to do. You're free to build. You don't need nothing. That's why they're free. Because they have everything already, so they're just builders. That's why they're free builders, and that's why they return to the term free men, because again, that is their liberty. Very important. Yeah, so much. So they knowing. So that's why knowing that you have a soul, like it's a full being. It's not part. It's not off ways. You have to really, because your parents would not be the same. It's and then it gives you the whole breakdown. But we're gonna go through. These are all of the bodies that holds the memories of these things. Powerful. Again, and yeah. So my people, yeah, that was a powerful live. What time? Okay. Great, excellent. We did an excellent time. Yes, sister. So again, we could just drop this. Yeah, so that really covers where we are. And that's because it's just where I am, and because it's where I think all of us as melanated people want to get to. I don't know where else we want to get to. We're in a solar system, so the best place is to get to yourself, which is your soul. So if this has helped, give thanks. If not, just need to get more heated. So I don't know if it's their sisters also. She stepped away from the mic. Yeah, my people. I wanted to view it on the line as well. One second. So I think she stepped away. Just turn this down.
I'm sorry, brother. Yes, I was grabbing a drink. I apologize.
So yeah, excellent. Yeah, we just to start, it's perfect. Everything was a solar reason.
Yes.
And its purpose. Again, every time I look at it, you have the name for a reason. Like it's not. Yeah, it's. I didn't see the name clearly, but your name is Sister Soul. So it's
yes.
good. It's good. It's very good. Yeah, and I just really mentioned the last thing before I kind of close the slide. But yeah, my people, everyone, again, there's everything there. 2026 is a solar year, so the soul does things. That's why again, builders, right? The soul shape this reality as how it is, and we have governing because we have the cells, and we have the control, meaning we have the perception, how we perceive this reality. That's why you have to know yourself down to that soul. That's why, with knowing yourself down there, you'll be able to have a greater impact on this earth and accommodating the actual time to come in as quickly as or as great as possible for you. Like accommodate yourself, by when you prepare, you're always gonna have an advantage, more comfort, would you say? So yeah, we covered the soul is gonna. This is 2026 again. I did press to myself this to keep that frequency. Like I say, now it's a grand opening, and I'm thankful for having me, Sister Soul.
Definitely, definitely. It was a pleasure again, brother. And I'll reach out to you or you reach out to me. We'll definitely get together for part 3. I definitely would love to break down that Magna Carta a lot more and people having a better understanding or understanding of the explanations in the hierarchy of the document itself. So I really appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much. I know it's very late there, but not very, very late, but it's pretty late there. Give you a chance to get some rest, brother. I appreciate you so much. And until next time, you have a great evening.
All right, excellent. Again, thank you very much. And you too, everyone, have a great evening. This soul, just keep your soul up. And it's the reason for living. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. This was part 2. If you haven't had a chance, please go on my page. I know I have not been live in a while since the last video I think I did with him. I am on TikTok. You guys are missing a lot if you have not come to TikTok and join my page. I put so much information up there. I know I used to do the book drops a lot of times over the past few years. I have so many books that are listed. You guys can go and get that information as well. I will try to come more over here to do lives. I do have people that inbox me or email me here and there, and a few people I speak with personally over the phone. Definitely would like to see me more over here. And I definitely will try to focus on that this year, coming back and delivering more presentations to you guys. So you guys are open and enlightened to a lot more information and variety of things that are, ways to keep us open in our minds to thoughts and truth and light and things of that nature. These things I talk to you guys about all the time. It has been a pleasure. And until next time, peace, love, and bliss, you guys. I'm out.